In thinking about how does one begin, how does one explore UDL as a framework, people actually do have different starting places. But one of the main things is to have an interest, and an interest in thinking about how UDL can solve a problem of practice. Once they have that basic understanding, then they can move on to raise awareness, like what is UDL? What are the implications for my practice, for my district, for my school? And then they can really investigate. Our work with Bartholomew Consolidated School District actually gave us great insight into thinking about the steps of implementation.
I think we really focused on, again, as we started looking at instructional frameworks to really bring everybody together and kind of create a culture that everybody believed in and could share. And I think that's why, as we looked at some kind of establishing some kind of framework for instruction, universal design for learning really appealed to us. If you think about, what do you think was the one key event that really got us moving on this?
Well, there were two key events in my mind, and they were one was with Bill. I think the key event was our middle school. One of our middle schools was selected as a pilot site by the Patents Project, which was a state project in Indiana, as a UDL pilot site. And as part of that, the staff in that building read the book, Teaching Learners in a Digital Age, and Bill also read the book. And I remember his words were, "This is the framework for what we're trying to get done across the board." And literally in the same week, I was in an advisory board meeting for our high ability gifted talented programs, and the question came up, how do you systematically meet the needs of high ability students in all your classrooms? And then Karen Garrity, who was a principal of an elementary that was a pilot site, talked about UDL, and again we brought in the book and gave it to the parents on that advisory committee, and they were like, well, this makes sense. So here we had, this makes sense for high ability students. Bill's saying this makes sense for the secondary folks because this brings in this ties everything together. I'm saying this makes sense for all these other kinds of kids with learning needs. It was one of those, and we all stopped and looked at each other and said, well, what we just said was this makes sense for everybody.